Why hello there, and welcome back once again to Some Weirdo on the Internet recommends several Zine Quest projects. So, in short, Zine Quest is a thing going on Kickstarter where people make RPG zines, and each week I go through the various projects that have been launched and pick out some to recommend to you. Also, I only recommend projects that adhere to all the Zine Quest guidelines, and you can get the actual thing for $5 or less. Although I have had to drop my previous guideline of a total goal of $500 or less because, honestly, the pickings have been kind of slim this week. So, let's get to my Zine Quest 2020 Week 3 picks. First up, Lunch Break TTRPG, a very small game. It's like a couple page of rules and a one-page adventure. It sounds kind of interesting. It talks about the adventure having to be like folded and moved like as you progress through it with like different paths and things. Also, it's like $1, so the investment for this one is extremely low, so might as well check it out. And next up, In Our Own Worlds, a clever one this is. It is an RPG zine where the gameplay involves making and trading zines between characters in two different universes. So it is a zine RPG zine, which is kind of a cool idea, kind of meta. I'm into that. So yeah, it sounds like a fun character and world building exercise, and also just fun to have to make a thing from the perspective of a character, so yeah, this one sounds quite interesting. And also is heavily zine themed, so when your zine is zine themed, that's gonna get my attention. And now, Space Vessel of Dr. Uaerom. I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly. A solo sci-fi hex crawl where you fly through space and make creatures and, do space stuff. So just personally, I've never played any hex crawl game or any solo tabletop game for that matter, so this sounds like an interesting way to get into that. It seems different enough to be interesting without being so different as to not be representative of the overall experience. So, if you're interested in checking those things out too, this seems like a good game for that, and if you already like those things, this is those things. And next, Dirty Town, a game where you play as pigeons, which is kind of a stupid idea. However, kind of stupid ideas, executed well, tend to turn out pretty good, and that's what this is seeming like it is. It is a diceless system where you wager kernels of corn because you're pigeons, and yeah, like I said, it just kind of seems like stupid fun. Also, the illustrations do look delightful to say the least. And finally, Hivesworn Queenfall, a game set in the post-apocalypse where you play as intelligent insects, and that is actually the basic idea that I was working on for Zine Quest prior to shifting to Punktopia. And how weird would that have been if Zine Quest had just 2 games about playing as insects after the fall of humans? Anyway, obviously, this one seems like a good idea to me because I was developing a game with the same basic idea. It sounds like an interesting experience to be these tiny creatures, adventuring around the crumbling remains of the society of humanity. It's one of those perspective things because it's taking something we're familiar with, like, the human world that we're all living in right now, and taking it into the future where the humans are gone, and then also scaling yourself down to a tiny size and trying to, imagine this setting that we're familiar with from this very unfamiliar perspective. Yeah, like I said, very good idea. Clearly someone with very good and clever ideas behind this. So those were my Zine Quest 2020 Week 3 picks. So if any of those sounded interesting, you go check them out. And also, there is still a few days to check out the picks from my Week 2 video. Of particular note, Punktopia, the Punkpunk role-playing game. Absurdist adventure in a world gone punk. Yes, back my project. Alright, so I'll be back next week with my selections from the stragglers of the Zine Quest 2020. So, until next time.